From News Chopper 11, hovering just outside the Crab Nebula, it's nerd news from Asteroid G. You're listening to Not So Live from Asteroid G. I'm Mike Finkelstein. With me, as always, is
Josh Schaefer
and Queen Bee.
Today we are discussing nerd news, our monthly check-in with all the things that interest all of us of a nerdy persuasion. And, well, it's actually, honestly, Josh and I were talking about this before the cast. It feels a little quiet right now. Like, I don't want to discuss politics if we don't have to, but it's starting to make me long for the days when we could spend 45 minutes bitching about Donald Trump. I'm just saying.
I mean, we can. There's still some Donald Trump news. There's always Donald Trump news.
I mean, his company did just get indicted by the New York AG, and he, accountant, Alan Weissel.
I don't remember his name.
I don't want to be racist, even though I'm Jewish, and say something that sounds, huh?
I stopped watching about Trump as soon as he was out of office.
Well, I like seeing someone get their comeuppance right now. That's all it is.
I like the video of his last rally and people just leaving because he wasn't making any sense. That was pretty cathartic.
He wasn't making any sense before. How is this any different, you know?
Because people are waking up. Wake up, sheeple.
Wake up, sheeples. Come on, man. No, but anyway, without Donald Trump around, we have to find other things to talk about, which, honestly, deep down makes me very happy. And the first thing I want to talk about is probably about as far removed from Donald Trump as you can be, except for the fact that it's about an undead, still shambling thing that probably should have died years ago.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, I'm talking about Blacula. So
best of all the vampires.
Oh, Blacula is amazing. For those of you who have not watched these, and I don't know if, Josh, you've seen both of them. Both of them? Excellent. Blacula is a couple of blaxploitation horror movies from the 1970s that were titled, of course, Blacula, naturally, and then follow-up, Scream, Blacula, Scream. The company, I think that was the American Film Corporation that made this something. They went out of business. They had some other ones. I think they also had the Count Yorga series, or at least they had the license to it. This is me being a giant vampire nerd that no one else cares about. But MGM bought the rights to the whole film franchise, and now they are looking at rebooting, quote-unquote. It's going to be a continuation, but it's set in the modern era, so it's about as good of a reboot as you can get, but it's gonna be Blacula, and I've been pitching Blacula since this damn thing started, and we talked about Ghostbusters in like the fourth podcast. Yeah. So, B, how do you feel about this?
Well, I guess I'm okay with it. I saw the original. I don't know. I had to have been like 7.
I don't think you're a fan of it the way I am.
And I'm always up for them trying to reboot things. I'm not sure how blacktastic it's going going since
it's Blacula. I mean,
well,
if you've
hopefully
seen Deion Taylor's movies, it's going to be very well represented, I think.
So entombed for 200 years.
Well, yeah, I mean that makes sense because he's Prince Mamuwaldi from Africa, who comes to Dracula's castle to, for some reason, get support for him creating his princely kingdom down in Africa. The whole plot doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but Dracula entombs him right before Dracula is killed by vampire hunters, because, I mean, it's a Tuesday, so Dracula's going to be killed by vampire hunters.
That's what you do.
Of course.
Yeah, right? So... No, I'm looking forward to it. I really love the original Blacula, and Blacula Scream's not a great movie. It's fun. It's fun. If you've seen other blaxploitation horror from the era, need I mention Blackenstein? It is far and away the best that era had to offer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like even recent ones, like was it Spike Lee who did the Ganja and Hess remake or something?
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I heard that one was wretched. So yeah, Spike Lee's hit or miss though.
Yeah. I like him for the most part, but sometimes it's just like, all right, man.
Sometimes, yeah.
Let's bring him back a little bit.
Okay, in other news, let's move on to various TV cancellations, because I actually feel like this segues pretty well into here, since we were just talking about blaxploitation. Yeah. Lovecraft Country, the one-season HBO series about the horrors in the Black South of the 1950s with an H.P. Lovecraft twist, based on a novel, single book, and adapted the whole book, has now sadly been canceled. The network citing lack of source material to work off of.
Yeah, I think they learned their lesson after Game of Thrones, where if there's no source material, you probably should just stop.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad point per se, but it's
a powerful series though, so I wish there would be more. But...
I mean, the problem is the fact that in the case of Game of Thrones, it wasn't the lack of source material that hurt them. It was the fact that the producers wanted the fuck to do with the series once they ran out of source material.
They saw that Disney cash, and it was like, well, we can just fuck around now.
Yeah, and then they got
they got booted by Disney.
They got booted by Disney, and they were gonna make that horribly racist alternate history Confederacy TV show, and then HBO was like, "This is we'll throw all the money we want you could ever want, and this is what you come up with."
Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing them again.
No. They once we saw what they did, that happens with them in the last couple seasons of Game of Thrones, their star has definitely lost luster.
I still am flabbergasted about how bad that was. I've never seen a property as popular as Game of Thrones before. Sink so low in so little time.
Yeah, it was pretty
bad.
It was bad. It was. I don't think there's any other way to put it. It was just bad. It's not that the. Okay, so I know we're not talking about Lovecraft Country anymore, but I feel like we have to get this off of our chests once again. It's not that the last 2 seasons were so terrible in comparison to normal TV. It's that the first 5 or so seasons were so good that the fall off in quality, even if it was still an okay show, is terrible by comparison. Yes. All right. Meanwhile, Netflix killed a bunch of shit that no one cared about. The Jamie Foxx show, I
didn't even know Jamie Foxx had a show until I saw that was canceled.
I know, right? My Dad Says Stupid Shit or something, whatever it was called.
Yeah.
The Kevin...
Disappointed. Yeah, I'm disappointed, though. They canceled The Irregulars, and I actually liked it. But I wasn't sure where they were going to go with it either. So since they kind of killed off Sherlock Holmes' character. Spoilers!
Well, I was interested in that show, but I have a 2 seasons policy with Netflix now.
Yeah. There was that Warrior Nun that we're not even sure is going to come back. I don't even think it's officially been canceled. It just hasn't been announced it's doing anything else.
I'm still mad at Glow.
Oh god, yeah, that hurt.
We can have an entire podcast about how mad I am that Netflix canceled Glow.
I mean, I don't know why we're not just doing that instead of Nerd News, but...
We should be. We'll put it on the books for next time.
Teenage Bounty Hunters was a show that I actually kind of liked and felt like it was the first show that really nailed that kind of Buffy vibe without, needing monsters. And they canceled after 1 season. Netflix.
That was on my list too, but not going to watch it now.
Well, actually, it was pretty good for 1 season. It has a decent tie-up at the end. You can watch it and not care too much about, whatever tiny cliffhanger it had. So, yeah. Anyway.
Cool.
Any shows you're upset about besides,
Irregulars?
Yeah.
Well, I only just started watching Lucifer, the final season.
It's on the final season. It's getting 1 more.
Oh, is it getting 1 more?
Yep.
Okay. Well, the second half of 5th season, whatever that is.
Which means that however bad it is right now, it can only get disappointingly worse by the end of it.
It's not so bad. It's just that I'm not quite sure where they're trying to go with it.
Yeah. It's uneven.
But we are getting Cobra Kai.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm actually just disappointed in general with Netflix because everything that's there is kind of meh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't even remember what exactly it is that I'm keeping Netflix around for at this point. I think it's just because I pay for the 4-member account and I have enough people leeching off of my account from me that, at this point I can't cancel it because entire families will go without, television at that point, but...
honestly, HBO Max has been my go-to.
HBO Max is good, especially because they have the deep library of, whatever shows or movies HBO is licensing at the time, plus the Warner Media crap that they get for free. It's not bad at all. I like that. Even though I kind of enjoyed MODOK when it was on, which it's no guarantee it's getting renewed. I just canceled Hulu because there wasn't enough good stuff on there because they got rid of all the other Marvel shows.
Yeah.
I am this close to canceling Netflix and just being at HBO Max and Amazon Prime and Disney. Disney is actually good, and they have regular shows, and HBO is good. Amazon Prime I only have around because I have Amazon
the documentaries,
Prime.
too.
I like the delivery.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Yeah. Most of Amazon Prime shows suck.
Or they do the Netflix thing where it's like, oh, The Tick, this is awesome. Oh,
Where
it just got canceled.
Yeah, I expect Invincible to get one more season and then get
I don't know, just because
Maybe.
of how popular superheroes are.
Maybe.
But Peacock's not bad. I like Peacock. But I get it for free from Comcast, and I don't know if I'd pay for it.
Yeah, I don't think I would pay for it. Like, especially because most of what they're trying to advertise it on is a couple shows that I was kind of okay with, like AP Bio, and then all the seasons of The Office, which I didn't want to watch anyway.
Rutherford Falls is pretty good.
But what about all 20 seasons of Friends?
No, thank you.
I know, right? That was sarcasm right there. And I love the fact that they had it. They have it on Peacock, but the reunion special is on HBO Max. Like,
right?
Guys. Okay.
Whatever.
Then, Josh, you had one that you wanted to bring up.
Well, all right. So, this is a lot. This is a lot to unpack. So, part of Nerd News is the gaming community, both tabletop and video games.
Which is hard to represent sometimes because it's a glacially paced industry most of the time. Yeah.
And most people say that the tabletop gaming scene's dying, which I argue against. Personally, but
the argument could be made that most of the tabletop gaming scene is the shitty version of D&D that we have, that's 5th edition right now, and Pathfinder, which is basically 3rd edition shambling along like a zombified corpse.
3.5.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, that's most of it.
So, in all this news, TSR, which was originally the brainchild of
Gary Gygax
Sr., was bought by Wizards of the Coast, 20 years ago?
20-ish years ago, yeah. And then they bought Magic the Gathering as well, so they had this giant, stupid conglomerate no one cared about. Yeah.
It's pretty much a monopoly almost, for the most popular games.
I almost had the Muppet thing in my head. Monopoly. Yeah, okay.
Monopoly.
That's now stuck in everyone's head that's listening to this podcast. I'm sorry, all 4 of you.
You're welcome. Well, it's stuck in my head now, and when I listen to it again, I'll... Future Josh, hello. This is past Josh. I hope you're well. But Gary Gygax Jr. is apparently a crazy racist, transphobic person.
Incel, all of this stuff,
Or Ernie. I'm sorry, his name's
Ernie. Yeah, no, I didn't think it was Gary Jr. Sorry, Gary Jr. You're an okay guy, we think.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know if we really want to go that far to endorse him, but we're certainly taking back the slanderous things we just said.
Yeah. So apparently he made a new TSR.
Yeah, I was looking into that. There's TSR stopped using the name TSR at Wizards of the Coast, so a company trademarked the name TSR, and then they accidentally let the trademark lapse. So Gygax's son Ernie, not Bert, Ernie. Decided to trademark the name, and he has his own TSR games that's different from the other TSR games, both of which are still operating right now.
Yeah, and Ernie's is he's trying to bring back the quote-unquote glory days of the 80s, which is cool. Like, I like it's a thing, but in a completely transphobic way and super racist, and he's been on podcasts talking about some racist crap that I don't want to repeat. It's pretty much culminated in him being hard banned from almost everything.
Gen Con has hard banned him despite the Gygax name.
His family.
Yeah, he has basically been banned from the convention that is his own family.
So it's kind of interesting to see what will happen with that. But apparently, what was it? Native Americans, I think, is what he was.
He was making racist comments about them and then being transphobic as well.
Yeah. And then quadrupling down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the MRA way, though. Those men's right activists and all the other crazy far right people. When someone calls you out on something you know was stupid and you shouldn't have said it, instead of saying I shouldn't have said this, you then go, no, it's you that's wrong because you don't actually understand the point I was trying to make.
Yeah. So I don't think the dust has settled yet on this whole thing because it's a couple days old, but I'm really interested to see where this is all going because he's wanting to open up a TSR museum as well. Yeah. So
I mean, let's be honest. It's not like AD&D or D&D or whatever you grew up calling it was entirely race friendly to begin with.
No.
I mean, most editions not only had male and female as the genders you could put down,
Yeah.
but like when Gary Gygax Sr. was barred from being allowed to use the term Hobbit in his book because that's trademarked in Tolkien, he decided to go with the most racist term the Hobbits do not like, halfling, for the characters in his actual book.
Yeah.
So, like, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's a lot. And the TSR, or not TSR anymore, Wizards of the Coast, WotC, whatever you like to call them, whatever they're going by now at this point, Hasbro, they want to actually distance themselves from the racist past of the game and reboot all the content and get rid of that crap. And there's a lot of people like, why would you want to do that? This is just part of the game. Because it's better for everyone if we don't acknowledge that anymore.
Yeah. It's like the same thing was when DC went back and started taking away all the borderline pedophilic stuff in Batman in the Golden Age, where it's like, that's not what was meant back then, but today, little weird.
I mean, it's the Marvel with the Mandarin, and even though they're like doing a soft reboot of the Mandarin in their own MCU because the first one was a horrible whitewashed mess, they're still not actually restoring the original character because the original character is Fu Manchu, and that's racist.
Very
racist.
Very racist.
So... And today on HR Corner with Asteroid G...
Who's in charge of HR again? I got some complaints.
I'll give you some real news with regards to nerds, and it does involve tabletop.
Sure.
Gen Con 2021 has officially said that they will be running their Gen Con online concurrent with the Gen Con actual activities between September 16th and September 19th, 2021. So if you don't already have your badges, they are online. And if you did not want to go because you're still concerned with COVID, as yours truly, you could have pushed your badges to next year, which is what we did. So just be aware that is going on.
I'm pretty sure they had to do that. I mean, so this is, circumstantial at best. But I have a friend that I work with who he has a giant gaming group that he goes to Gen Con with every time. It's one of those 10 to 15 people things where they can basically go to attend a game and basically fill the entire table. And he was like, of this entire group who are hardcore Gen Con fans, they will go every year. 3 of them are going. So when the hardcore fans are coming like 3 out of 10 or 3 out of 15, I think attendance is going to be very low this year, which will make actually going, if you go any of the days, kind of nice. But I think they pretty much had to do the online event because otherwise they were just going to lose so much business.
Yeah.
I'm happy
so that is going to be going on. And then for those who have been waiting for over a year, Black Widow is finally being released on July 9th.
Yes.
So those people who have been waiting for it, it is going to be here next week.
Yes.
So be aware of that.
A couple weeks ago, maybe in the future.
I mean, it's going up this Tuesday.
It's coming up on Tuesday. Okay, never mind. I was like, that's close.
I'm actually looking forward to that, but I think we've just touched upon this before in previous Nerd News. The fact that we've been getting other Marvel shows on Disney Plus has sated the need for me to, need some Marvel crap in my diet. Because, we've basically had a show going every week since WandaVision started up because of the way that Disney is. Yeah,
that's true.
Wanda into Falcon into Loki, which Loki is fantastic, by the way. If you're gonna,
it is fantastic.
You need to watch Endgame just what's going on, but because of how it ties in.
Right.
But of all the shows, I would say and I really liked WandaVision. This is the first that even if you're not watching the MCU, this is a must watch because Hiddleston's amazing.
Yeah,
he is amazing. I will give you that. And last bit of nerd news for those who care about figurines. Hasbro is relaunching G.I. Joe characters, Duke, Scarlet, all those. They're getting a relaunch by Hasbro. So
like the OG toys,
something like that.
Actual toys.
They have the real Ghostbusters. Those are awesome.
Yeah, that's probably because they have Snake Eyes coming out in a couple or so months, and they want to do their proper synergistic tie-in. Yeah. So, which makes sense. It makes sense.
So that's all the nerd news I had. and I was aware of.
I do know that, was it Sideshow Games or whoever the one that does the high-end, like, 20-inch figurines?
Mm-hmm.
They have a Hammer-style Dracula and Von Helsing they're going to be putting out, which I would get if it wasn't Sideshow, which means it's going to be $120 minimum to buy the damn thing.
A statue, or?
It's a statuesque kind of posable figure.
Sideshow has been kind of cheaper. You might... Maybe
possible.
50.
Get a Christopher Lee to stand beside my Blacula figure,
Yeah.
bringing it back around to the start of the podcast. Yeah.
I will also give you an extra bit for those people who are nerdy about food.
Encore? No.
Both Dr. Pepper and Coke have released zero sugar variants of their drinks, and they're actually pretty decent. I think they're better than the diet versions.
Endorsement? No.
Get that check.
Just saying.
This section of Asteroid G brought to you by...
I can now have a rum and Coke, and it actually tastes like rum and Coke. So, very exciting.
Do they use like Splenda or something, or aspartame?
No, because when they do that, it typically has an aftertaste. These don't have an aftertaste.
Leaf clippings and wood mold.
I like wood mold.
I don't know what's in it. All right. And with that, well, I know, okay, so on the topic of soda, I know that Pepsi had out for a little while Pepsi Blue.
Yeah, it's aspartame.
Oh, it's aspartame. So it's just very good tasting aspartame.
It's very good tasting aspartame. Yep.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, that's one of my triggers.
Pepsi Blue was out, which gives all of us that remember Crystal Pepsi flashbacks of the 1990s.
You know, I didn't mind Crystal Pepsi. It was like drinking water.
So I read an article about this, and this is slightly off topic for news, but still, I find it fascinating. The reason why Crystal Pepsi failed is not because the soda itself wasn't successful.
It was the color.
No. It was actually very successful as a clear soda, and it was so successful it freaked the fuck out of Coke. So they released Tab Crystal or Tab Clear, and people started thinking that Crystal Pepsi, they got the two of them switched in their head, and people started thinking that because Tab Clear was a low-calorie soda that tasted like ass, Pepsi Clear was going to be a low-calorie soda that tasted like ass. So, like, they basically created a brand
to play that psychological game on the public.
And Pepsi died. And then it came back a few years later as, like, Pepsi Crystal, now a citrus soda, and all the fans of it before hated it, and it died. Yeah. So,
I remember they re-released, or had, like, a retro release thing of Crystal Pepsi a few years ago. I got a bottle and it tasted just like Pepsi.
Yeah, I mean,
which I don't really like now. I don't really care for Pepsi, but
I mean, that was the thing that Crystal Pepsi revealed, was that the caramel color doesn't do anything about the flavor. It just makes it brown.
Yeah,
literally just adds brown.
Let's put some brown in.
Let's put some brown in this. Yeah. So, if you were a soda color, what soda color would you be?
Urine Mountain Dew colored.
It's liquid sunshine.
I would be violet.
You'd be violet. So you like a what was
Fanta?
It? Like a Fanta, or what's the one from that we used to drink the strawberry soda back in the day?
The Grape Crush.
Or
red cream soda. Red Pop.
Knee High.
Knee High. That's the stuff. Grape Knee High was pretty tasty. I like that. I'd be grape. I like grape flavor.
I do too.
Yeah. All right. I think we're good.
I think we're
good. All right, this has been Nerd News from Asteroid G. Here at the Nerd News desk, I'm your host, Mike Finkelstein.
I'm Diet Dr. Mountain Dew.
I'm Queen Bee.
And we will see you next time.